Good morning and a very warm welcome. This is the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. I'm Therunee Karunaratne and as always we're coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. This morning too we're ready to bring you details of all the top stories from here at home and around the world. Do stay tuned with us for the news in detail. Let's start off with news here at home as always. The first Kumal Perahara of the Asala Perahara festival at the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic in Kandy will parade the streets tonight. Our Newsfirst correspondent says that special arrangements have been made for devotees arriving in Kandy to witness the Perahara. Now, due to the Asala Perahara festival, a special traffic and security plan will be in place in Kandy from today until the 9th of this month, according to the police. Senior DIG of the Kandy district, Anuruddha Bandaranaike, says that 6,000 police officers along with members of the tri-forces have been deployed for the event. And in your weather update for today, the Met Department says that temperature felt by the human body in parts of the eastern and north central provinces as well as certain parts of the Baunia district could reach levels of caution today. The department has urged the public to take necessary precautions to protect themselves from this hot weather condition. Officials advise staying hydrated and remaining in shaded areas whenever possible to minimize heat-related health risks. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka has been named the #1 island in the world by Enjoy Travel in its annual ranking of the 50 best islands to visit. Now, this list, curated by Enjoy Travel's editorial team and shaped by insights from their global social audience, celebrates islands that offer more than just scenic beaches. Sri Lanka stood out for its vibrant mix of ancient heritage, lush landscapes and golden coastlines, making it a top choice for travelers seeking both adventure and serenity. Now, this teardrop-shaped island off the southern coast of India has it all, from golden beaches to terraced tea plantations. Whiling away blissful days, beach hopping along the 833-mile coastline is part of the charm, but Sri Lanka offers much more beyond the show. The island's accessibility, affordability and year-round appeal also contributed to this top ranking. Now, whether it is hiking in the Central Highlands, exploring colonial architecture in Galle, or indulging in spicy street food in Colombo, Sri Lanka is sure to deliver a travel experience that is both immersive and unforgettable. With that, let's move on to more local news for this morning. The Ministry of Public Security and Parliamentary Affairs announced that the bill to abolish the pensions of members of Parliament will be presented to the Cabinet next week. The bill, drafted by the Ministry of Justice, has been forwarded to the Attorney General for review. This move is in line with the election pledge made by the current government. The ministry further stated that the issuance of vehicle permits for members of Parliament has already been suspended. Now, the Department of Immigration and Emigration has called for tenders for the printing of electronic passports. According to the department, the tender will remain open until the 7th of August. Meanwhile, the department stated that passports applied for under the one-day service are being issued without delays. It further noted 150 passports are issued daily. The department added that applications for passports are accepted from 6:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. And in more local news, the owners of the vessel MSC Elsa 3, which caught fire and sank in the seas of Kerala, India, have agreed to pay compensation for the damage caused to Sri Lanka's marine and coastal environment. The Liberian flagged ship sank on the 25th of May while carrying 643 containers on board. Chairman of the Marine Environment Protection Authority, Samantha Gunasekara, said that representatives of this shipping company and its insurers have met with the authority to discuss this compensation process. He added that an assessment of the environmental damage to Sri Lanka's coastline is currently underway. Now, meanwhile, coastal cleanup operations in areas affected by this incident continue as well. Meanwhile, the Welfare Benefits Board of Sri Lanka announced that the July Senior Citizens Allowance for the Aswasuma beneficiary families will be credited to their bank accounts today. Chairman Jayantha Vijayaratne stated that payments will be credited to 600,768 beneficiaries. He added that senior citizens in Aswasuma beneficiary families will be able to access these funds through their bank accounts starting today. Coming up next is international news for this morning. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has said that the United Kingdom will recognise Palestinian state in September unless Israel takes quote-unquote substantive steps to end the appalling situation in Gaza. The Prime Minister said Israel must also meet other conditions, including agreeing to a ceasefire, committing to a long-term sustainable peace that delivers a two-state solution, and allowing the United Nations to restart the supply of aid, or the United Kingdom would take the step at September's UN General Assembly. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the move rewards Hamas's quote-unquote monstrous terrorism. The UK government has previously said recognition could come at a point when it can have maximum impact as part of a peace process. However, the Prime Minister has been under growing pressure, including from his own MPs, to act more quickly. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
As a contribution to a proper peace process at the moment of maximum impact for the two-state solution. With that solution now under threat, this is the moment to act. So today, as part of this process towards peace, I can confirm the UK will recognise the State of Palestine by the United Nations General Assembly in September, unless the Israeli government takes substantive steps to end the appalling situation in Gaza.
As Sir Keir Starmer made his announcement, Foreign Secretary David Lammy addressed a UN conference in New York aimed at advancing a two-state solution to the conflict. Now, Lammy told reporters the UK had worked with Jordan to airdrop 20 tons of aid to Gaza in the recent days, as he also called for aid trucks to be allowed to enter by land. UN agencies have described the situation in Gaza as man-made mass starvation, blaming the humanitarian crisis on Israel, which controls the entry of all supplies to the territory. Let's see what David Lammy had to say.
The Israeli government acts to end the appalling situation in Gaza, ends its military campaign, and commits to a long, sustainable peace based on a two-state solution. Our demands on Hamas also remain absolute and unwavering. Before the UN General Assembly gathers, we will take stock of how far the parties have come in meeting these steps. No one side will have a veto on recognition through their actions or inactions. But recognition by itself will not change the situation on the ground. That is why we are taking immediate steps as well, like airdropping humanitarian supplies along with our partners in Jordan, getting injured children into British hospitals, and pressing for the resumption of the United Nations humanitarian assistance. We also believe that a lasting ceasefire requires urgent progress on governance and security in Gaza. We are therefore working with allies on a plan for long-term political negotiations and a two-state solution. Chair, there is no better vision for the future of the region than two states.
And in more news overseas, Russian airstrikes on a prison and hospital in southeastern Ukraine killed at least 19 people, while United States President Donald Trump said he would start imposing punitive measures on Russia within 10 days if Moscow showed no progress toward ending its war in Ukraine. 16 of the people were killed when Russia bombed a prison in the frontline Zaporizhzhia region in an attack Ukrainian President Zelensky said was deliberate. He said 43 people were injured in the incident. Zelensky earlier said a total of 22 people had been killed over the past 24 hours. Russia, which denied targeting civilians in Tuesday's attacks, has intensified airstrikes on Ukrainian towns and cities behind the front lines of its full-scale invasion, now in its fourth year, as it gradually pushes ahead on the battlefield. Russian forces hold around a fifth of Ukrainian territory. Let's move on to more international news this morning. A massive magnitude 8.7 earthquake struck off the coast of Russia on Tuesday, sparking tsunami warnings in Alaska and Hawaii and alerts for other areas of the west coast. The earthquake occurred about 85 miles off the east coast of Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula with a depth of nearly 12 miles, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. A warning was announced for Alaska's Aleutian Islands and Hawaii. California, Oregon and Washington are under a tsunami watch, as well as the U.S. territory of Guam, while the threat is being evaluated. Coming up next is your sports news for this morning. The Netherlands' Lorena Wiebes won stage 4 of the Women's Tour de France. The 9th edition of the Women's Tour de France is currently underway, with yesterday marking the 4th stage of the race. The stage covered a distance of 130.7 kilometers. Lorena Wiebes claimed victory in stage 4 with a time of 2 hours, 54 minutes and 11 seconds. Fellow Dutch rider Marianne Vos secured a second place, while Ireland's Lara Gillespie finished third. After 4 stages, Marianne Vos continued to lead the overall standings with a total of 11 hours, 13 minutes and 11 seconds. Well, that's a wrap of this morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. I'm Therunee Karunaratne. Thank you for joining us today, and do join us tomorrow as well. Same time, same place, for more of the very latest from here at home and around the world. Take care. Have a wonderful day ahead.